What's up, guys? It's your girl Twisted Witch here, and before I get started with the video, I want to apologize for not posting any sooner. I just found out that I have a tumor, so I had to take a short-term disability leave from my job and go into the doctor's appointments and trying to get everything set up for that. So it's kind of a scary time right now, so I apologize for being late on posting my video, but just wanted to address it. Now let's get started with the video. Today I want to be talking about the St.Albans Sanatorium. And if anybody has ever known about the St.Albans Sanatorium, you probably know the story of this horrific place when it was a sanatorium. But the hospital hauntings actually started before the story of St. Albans was made. And the reason why I say that is because during the 1700s, St. Albans' close proximity to the New River watershed attracted Native Americans and early European settlers. And with that, competitions resulted in hostilities. The Shawnee Indians brought tensions to the climax, and that they attacked colonists, killing at least 5 people. One of the ones that managed to get away but then eventually died was Mary Draper. And then one of the ones that actually died that I could find is 2. And Eleanor Draper was tomahawked and scalped. So you can only imagine the hatred and emotions of that spirit. And then Betty Draper, unfortunately, was an infant child who was brained against a log cabin. And me being a mom, just having to see that is just, I couldn't even put into words how it would make me feel. So that was during the 1700s. Now let's skip forward a little bit and go to when St. Albans was actually built, which was in 1892 as a Lutheran boys' school. Now the person that was the headmaster and in charge of this was George W. Miles. And he demanded boys to perform well, so much high expectations was expected of these kids, but later turned to extreme methods to the point that bullying was encouraged versus trying to keep them well behaved. This twisted man pretty much was like, oh yeah, you wanna go bully somebody? I encourage it, go ahead and do it. Unfortunately, it quickly fell after his death in 1903, thankfully. I know that's bad to say, but this dude did not deserve to live the way he was treating these boys. So his death was in 1903, and then the Lutheran Boys' School was closed 8 years later. Now, skipping ahead just a few years, in 1916, Dr. John C. King opened up the psychiatric hospital. And just like George Miles, he wanted the best and had the highest expectations of this place. But of course, behind closed doors, it wasn't what it was said it was supposed to be. The history of the hospital is a story of failures, replacing failures, just like the Lutheran Boys' School. And with those failures, unfortunately came some sick treatment of these patients. That's including insulin-induced comas, lobotomies, and the staff to patient ratio was a sad 48 to 6,509. So you have 48 staff members trying to take care of 6,509. Therefore, there was a lot of mistreatment, nobody getting any treatment, or the harshest treatment of all. When cutting skulls open proved ineffective, which go figure, doctors opted simply shocking them to their senses. And that would include hydrotherapy, waterboarding, you name it. These sick, sadistic, excuse my language, bastards done some cruel, cruel things. But after that, the hauntings starting at St. Albans is where the mentally ill were pretty much hostages. They were not patients, they were pretty much hostages. Where pain and torment was unfortunately experienced for them on a daily basis. And typically, as a result because of that, the dead usually outnumbered the living, which I would say so after putting through all that torment. So some of the hauntings today are hauntings in a bathroom, which is known as the suicide bathroom. Another hot spot is the bowling alley, where there are spirits of a girl named Allie. I couldn't find much research on her or anything, but the second person that you can see there and hear from is a poor girl called Gina Renee Hall. And Gina was murdered in 1980 somewhere close to St. Albans. And she went to a party. This guy kidnapped her, drove her to a bridge that's, again, not far from St. Albans, raped her and killed her, but they never could find her. So some of the theories and stuff that goes around is that he had took Gina Renee Hall and took her up to St. Albans